Good morning, boys and girls, and happy Monday. Day 26 of distant learning. As you can see, I'm not in my usual setting. I am dog sitting for some family friends. Got 3 German Shepherds over here that are outside, so fingers crossed that they don't bark through this video. All right, so first things first, for this week, I'm not really a fan of what the packet looks like, so I'm going to be making some changes. With that being said, please don't go ahead of me. Don't go ahead of my daily videos because I don't want for you to do work that you don't have to do. All right. Don't do more than you have to. All right. I am here for you. It wants us to write an essay. We're not writing an essay this week. You're welcome. All right. So that's that. Please don't move ahead of me. Now, please know that the science lesson will follow this video. And let's get started. So for today, you are to complete 30 minutes of reading a story of your choice. Please make use of the Get Epic website. And be sure that if you are making use of Get Epic, that you are reading the stories and not listening to the stories, okay? Then next for today is we're going to be doing a close read. Alrighty, we're going to be close reading the story Rainbow Trout's Colors. That story can be found in your packet. So if the story is something that we are going to use from the packet today, don't move on from that. We're just simply going to be doing a close read, meaning annotating the packet. I will go over those directions shortly. Remember that when we close read, we read a story 3 times. 3 times we will read this story, okay? I am going to do you the honors of reading it the first time to you. So technically, you only have to read it twice. All right, you're welcome again. So I'm gonna read it to you the first time. So your instructions are to listen as I read out loud. And then when you read it the second time, I want for you to casually read the text on your own so that you can get a feel for what the text is saying. All right, for you to get an understanding of the text. And then the third read is when you will analyze the text, meaning you will take notes, circle characters' names, underline the setting, draw a box around words that you don't know. Okay, remember the notes that you are taking are just like short one sentence that tells you what does the author want you to get out of reading that paragraph? What do they want you to know? Okay, so again, I'm going to do the first read for you. The second read is where you just read it casually on your own for understanding. And the third is where you will dig deep and analyze the text. Alrighty, so with that being said, let's read. If you can, turn to the story Rainbow Trout's Colors in your reading packet. It should be like the second or third page. It is numbered. It says page 2. Alrighty. Rainbow Trout's Colors. Grandfather and his grandson were working outside, bringing in the winter firewood. The day was dull and rainy, and as they worked, the cold water ran down their necks. The grandson said, "I wish it would never rain. I like the clear sky and the warm sun better." Grandfather looked at him and said, "Let's take a rest, and I'll tell you a story about the rain." They found a dry spot under a cedar tree to sit, and Grandfather began. "Down in the lake, trout once felt the same way you do. He liked summer's sun because food became more plentiful. This is when the water in the lake gets warm and the insects hatch." FYI, if you don't know what a trout is, it's a type of fish, all right? One rainy day, Trout saw Eagle flying overhead and called out to him, "Eagle, can you fly up into the sky and drag the rain clouds away to the other side of the mountain?" Eagle asked, "So you think it would be good for the rain to go away so you could have sun all of the time?" "Oh yes," said Trout. "It would be warm and bright and there would be lots of food for me." Eagle thought, "It looks like I need to teach Trout a lesson." Eagle flew up into the sky and dragged the gray rain clouds to the next valley, letting the bright sun shine down on Trout's lake. Ooh. Trout was very happy. Every day was bright, warm, and cheerful, and there was lots to eat. But after a while, things started to change. Trout noticed that the water in the lake was not as deep as it used to be. The lake was getting smaller, leaving nothing but dry mud in its place. Trout also noticed that the insects who needed the water to feed and hatch their eggs had left. As the water got lower, there was less to eat, and Trout was finally trapped in a little pond with no food and barely enough room to turn around. Trout looked up and saw Eagle watching him from a treetop. Trout called out, "Eagle, I was wrong. There can be too much sunshine. Now I know that rain is an important part of our world. Without it, the lake and everything I need to live will go away." Eagle flew over the mountain and dragged the clouds back. Just before they covered over the sun, a bright rainbow came down from the rain clouds and shone on Trout. The colors splashed onto his scales and changed him into Rainbow Trout. Grandfather looked up into the sky and said to his grandson, "I accept the cloudy weather just like Rainbow Trout now does, because I know that without rain, there would never be rainbows. Remember, everything has a purpose, even though we may not always understand what it is." Ooh. Huh. Surprise. That was the end of the story. I don't want that happening again. So, we've read our story. You're going to read it for a second time through on your own, and then you're going to analyze your text. Now, you can chunk when you're taking these notes, okay? Your notes don't have to be, here's a note for the first paragraph, here's a note for the second paragraph, here's a note for the third paragraph. You can take paragraph 1, 2, and 3 and write one note about what that whole section is telling you about, okay? Don't feel overwhelmed. Pretty much just short and sweet. What is the story telling us? All right, and that is it for reading today. All right, now for science, and we will be going over your annotations for the Rainbow Trout story tomorrow. All right, so for science, we're going to be talking about engineering. Alrighty, so if you can, I'll give you a couple seconds there. Go ahead and turn to the Monday page in the science part of your packet. All right, Monday, day 1, probe. It says, how do engineers work to solve problems? I'm going to read a section and then we're going to answer a question. Alrighty, and the section says, some friends were talking about what their parents do at work. John said, my dad is an engineer, but I have never seen him drive a train. Sarah said, I think the word engineer can mean something different than driving a train. Megan chimes in saying, no, engineers are definitely train drivers. Think about Thomas the Train. Kylie responds, I heard that engineers are people who design and build things that we need. So my question to you is, what do you think about the friends' conversation and who do you agree with? I want to know, what do you think an engineer is? Alrighty, there's space there on the side for you to write that down. Again, who do you agree with? What's an engineer? Who gave the best answer for what an engineer is? Alrighty, you can pause the video to get that done, and welcome back. So, engineering design, when they identify a problem. Let's read. It says, in really tiny font. Ooh, there we go, okay. We have been learning about how plants and animals adapt to changing seasons. One seasonal adaptation birds use is to fly south for the winter to find food and warmth. Birds also lay their eggs between early spring and midsummer because the air temperature is warmer, giving their young a better chance to survive. Birds try to hide their nests from predators by building them in places that are hard to reach and by using materials that blend in with the surroundings. When birds build their nests, they are acting like engineers. Engineers are people who design and build things that we need. This week, we would like you to help a bird build a nest that would allow it to lay eggs in fall or winter. Think about materials that you could use to design your nest. Think about features that you could put on your nest that will allow the bird to keep the eggs and baby birds warm during the colder weather. Remember that your nest will have to be able to hold the weight of at least 2 eggs to be considered a successful solution. Later this week, when you are finished designing and building it, you will need to test it to see if it can hold this amount of weight. So, engineering design asks, when engineers solve problems, they start by asking questions. Think about these questions, okay? Just think about these questions. I'll read them. What is the problem I am trying to solve? What materials do birds use to build nests? What materials could I use to build my nest? What is it like during the spring and summer? What is it like during the fall and winter? What features could I add to my nest to make it a warm place for the eggs and babies? Now, it asks you, what other questions do you have? So for this lesson today, you are to make a list of these questions and try to find answers. This is how engineers get to know the problem that they are trying to solve, okay? Asking questions helps them get a better understanding of all of the parts of the problem so that they can develop a really good solution. Because you can't develop a good solution without knowing all of the possible problems, okay? You have to have a good understanding of all of that in order to create a good solution, a good answer to the problem. They're wild, I'm telling you, they're crazy, they're loud. 3 of them. All right, my friends, I miss you. I hope that you had an excellent weekend. Again, please don't follow the packet word for word because I am editing it a little bit. And yeah, I look forward to teaching you tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, friends.